fundraiser, and we're going to make this man the next governor.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much. Thank you all for being here. This is a great event, and Bob said this is all about me. It's not. It's all about the Second Amendment, and celebrating our Second Amendment rights, which we have in both our state and federal Constitution have been protected and given. So I want to say personally thank you very much for all of you for being here. Some of you I've yet to meet, others of you I've seen all across the state. We've now completed over 200 events all around the state of New Hampshire, and it has been a lot of work, but it's been very, very rewarding. And I want to tell you folks, people are excited about what we are bringing, and exactly our message is live free or die, right? Get the government out of our lives and out of our businesses. Leave us alone. So the primary is on September 9th, okay? Everybody needs to make sure that they mark that down. I don't want to see you on September 10th and you say, oh, I would have voted for you, but I forgot, okay? That's right, that's right. September 9th. And I've got a couple of housekeeping things, and then I'm gonna say a few words about the campaign. At 2:30, we're gonna all come back here, and we're gonna pull the raffle tickets out of the buckets. You got to be here to win, okay? So that starts at 2:30. As soon as we're done here, we can get back to the ranges and keep shooting and keep having some fun here. But Bob wanted me to make sure that everybody was back here at 2:30 for that raffle. Now I mentioned live free or die. Everywhere we go, we're talking about our state motto. And I believe that our state motto, live free or die, is more than just a catchy marketing phrase. It's more than just something we paint onto our signs or stamp onto our license plates. Live free or die, rather, is a statement of principle. It's a statement of principle that's woven into each and every one of us. And literally, as we've traveled around the state, this is a message and a principle that resonates with everybody that's in our state. But folks, over the last 10 years, we've had 10 consistent years of Democrat governors, and we have seen the fastest, most aggressive growth of state government that we have ever seen in our state's history. And what happens when our government grows? What happens? Taxes go up, right? But freedom shrinks. Individual and economic freedom always shrinks. So over the last 10 years, as we have seen the state growing bigger and bigger and bigger, we have seen citizens' freedom growing smaller and smaller and smaller. Folks, I believe, as many of you do, that freedom is the end game, right? Freedom is man's happiest state. And that's what makes New Hampshire so unique. We live in a state where we prize this principle of live free or die. We recognize that there are things that are even worse than death, as John Stark said. And so, in this campaign, we are bringing forward a message of freedom, looking for ways, looking for solutions to start to shrink that stake, getting it out of our life and out of our businesses. And we have focused primarily on 3 particular areas. I'm not going to go into all of that, okay? I know you all have trigger finger, a little. I just don't want to be in front of you guys for too long, all right? We focused on education. And folks, in education today, we need a fundamental reboot in our state's educational system. We need to introduce, once again, freedom into our educational system. We need to allow for school choice. We need to allow for parents to be able to choose how their children are ultimately educated, whether it's homeschool or online school or charter schools, whatever it is. We need more educational opportunity, more choice, more freedom in our educational system. Let me ask you a question. Governor Hassan, in her first budget as governor, put zeroed out the line item for charter schools, made it absolutely zero. Do you know that even Barack Obama funded charter schools? And in fact, he expanded funding to charter schools. So I want to tell you something, and you're all going to have to boo after I say this, okay? Even our governor, Maggie Hassan, is further left than even Barack Obama. Ooh. Thank you. Can you imagine that? To the left of Barack Obama? No. This is what we have presently today in the live free or die state. second thing is healthcare. We all understand and could talk about the healthcare in our state for hours, for days, for months, and for years, right? Because we've already been doing it over and over and over and over again. The healthcare in our state is very simple. There's two very simple solutions. It's a supply and demand. Supply and demand. And what did we do when we passed Obamacare? We exponentially increased demand. And then we passed Medicaid expansion, the single largest public program our state's ever passed just this year, with no way to pay for it. So we've increased again demand. And what have we done on the supply side? We've dropped supply, haven't we? We've excluded 10 of the hospitals in our state. We see doctors every day retiring or opting out of the system, so our supply is going down. So what happens based on this economic law when demand is high and supply is low? Price goes up and quality goes down. Folks, we are facing truly a healthcare crisis as we move forward in the expansion of these programs. All of us are used to a certain level and quality of care. That is not going to be a reality in our state if something doesn't change. So what can we do? On the supply side, we need more access to hospitals, more access to doctors. How do we do that? Well, did you know that in New Hampshire today, we have what's called a Certificate of Need Board? And hospital executives sit on a board. They're appointed by a governor. They sit on a board, and they are allowed to determine whether or not new hospitals could be built in New Hampshire. Let me give you an example. A couple of years ago, the Cancer Center for America wanted to come and build a hospital in New Hampshire, a world-class cancer treatment facility in our state. That'd be great, right? We all would love that. We all have family members ourselves who have either battled cancer or are battling cancer. Imagine having a world-class treatment center in our state. Well, guess what? Hospital executives who sit on the Certificate of Need Board, they voted no. They said, no, we can't do that. Why? Because of competition. They don't want competition for their hospitals. You know that your doctor, if he wanted to buy a CAT scan machine or even offer a new procedure, has to go before the board to ask permission. Think about that, folks. We need to repeal the Certificate of Need Board. We need to open our state up to competition in the healthcare space. That's the same philosophy we'll take on the other side of the equation, the demand side. We need to get rid of Medicaid expansion. We need to repeal that. That is a boondoggle from the very beginning. We're going to end that, and we're going to move as much as we can away from Obamacare as possible. How do we do that? We get more health insurance companies in our state competing for your business. Today we have one health insurance company. No wonder last year they reported double the average profits for health insurance companies. Think about that, folks. They're profiting off of all of us. So we need more health insurance companies here. We can do that. We can roll back the regulation, make New Hampshire attractive again for these health insurance companies to come and to compete. That's the only way that all of us will be able to afford quality health insurance, which will provide low-cost, quality health care. And the last thing is our economy. We all understand that over the last 10 years, we've seen an absolutely flat, nearly dead New Hampshire economy. Let me give you a picture of that. When you drive Interstate 93 and you cross through Salem and you drive into Methuen, what do you see right away? You see Raytheon, you see iRobot, right? You see industrial plant after industrial plant. But wait, I thought we were the tax haven for businesses. But why are they all in Massachusetts? Today in New Hampshire, we have a higher corporate tax rate than Massachusetts does. What does that make us? Right? No wonder businesses are fleeing our state. No wonder students graduating from our colleges can't find jobs and stay in New Hampshire. We need to change that. I have introduced what I call a business flat tax. It's a complete redo of our business tax structure. There are only 3 factors. You multiply that by a tax rate of 2%. That's your business tax rate. This will lower the business, especially on small businesses, the tax burden on small businesses by 42%. 42% reduction. That is going to make New Hampshire competitive with other states in our region. And when we pass right to work, we will be the only right to work state in our New England region. And we will once again be able to go out and start to move businesses to our state over and over and over. One last story before I go. I visited Ruger recently, and you all would have been very, very jealous of the tour that I was able to take. It was amazing. If you haven't been over to their plant over in Newport, I say, you know, if you're a gun enthusiast at all, which obviously you all are, get over there and see those folks. They'll take you on tours. It's an amazing process. But we got to shoot some of their new guns there in the range. It was really, really fun, amazing. What wasn't fun was sitting in their boardroom and listening to them tell me the horror stories that they have to go through in dealing with our state government and how afraid they are of our governor passing some crazy wackadoo law which is going to put more regulation on our Second Amendment rights. They told me one of the reasons that they built a plant recently in North Carolina, right, is that they're not sure about our political climate here in New Hampshire, specifically as it relates to gun laws and gun restrictions. Well, it was pretty obvious what my conversation with them was, right? If I'm elected governor, you don't have to worry about that one bit. Not one day, not 1 ounce of sleep will you need to lose worrying about your gun rights. And in fact, we're going to expand those. We are going to get back to a constitutional Second Amendment rights. We're going to allow for constitutional carry. I don't care how many rounds you have in your clip, okay? We're going to fight any regulation which starts to come through the state. We will veto that. It'll be dead upon arrival, I promise you. And we are going to get New Hampshire's economy going again so that all of us that are here in this state can start to benefit and prosper from that. And as we move companies here and as entrepreneurs start to spring up here in our state, our children who graduate from our schools will be able to stay here in New Hampshire. Once again, we will have a state that doesn't just have a motto, live free or die. Rather, we will have the opportunity to live free and to prosper. Thank you very much for all of you for being here.
Croc TV.